She stepped forward without thinking, took the blade meant for someone else, and in that silent moment, a feared man realized power had never saved anyone the way she just did. Blood warmth spread across her apron before anyone understood what had happened. The room froze in disbelief as the black waitress staggered. One hand pressed to her side, the other still reaching forward, as if her body had decided before her mind could. The Korean mafia boss's mother stood behind her, untouched, eyes wide with shock, and the man who ruled the city's shadows felt something snap inside his chest, sharp and final. Only seconds earlier, the restaurant had been loud with clinking plates and low talk. Now, silence wrapped the space, heavy and stunned. The boss stood from his seat, not as a king of fear, but as a son who had just seen his mother spared by a stranger. His eyes locked on the waitress as she fought to stay upright, refusing to fall until she knew the older woman was safe. She was young, but her face carried years of late nights, tired smiles, and learned patience. Her uniform was simple, worn at the seams. Her hands trembled, not from fear, but from pain she refused to let show. The people around them stayed frozen, unsure, unwilling to move. Power had always ruled this room. Tonight, quiet courage did. Her name was Alana. She had come to work that morning thinking only of rent, tips, and the hope of getting home before her little brother fell asleep. She had smiled through rude words, wiped tables with care, and served tea to the older Korean woman with the same respect she gave everyone. When danger rose without warning, Alana did not weigh risk. She simply stepped forward. The boss watched her closely now. He had seen fear break men twice her size. He had seen loyalty bought and sold. But this was different. This was unplanned, unpaid, pure. Alana's legs gave way at last, and strong hands caught her before she hit the floor. The boss moved without command, lowering himself beside her, his expensive suit touching the same ground as spilled drinks and broken glass. His mother knelt too, holding Alana's hand with both of hers, whispering thanks through tears. The boss felt the room shift. His men stood alert, but waiting for him, waiting to see what kind of man he would be now. Alana's life had never been easy. She was raised by a mother who worked herself thin and still smiled at night. She learned early that silence could protect peace, that dignity could be held even when the world tried to strip it away. When her mother passed, Alana became the steady one. She took care of her brother, cooked meals with borrowed groceries, and promised him that things would get better even when she was not sure how. She had wanted more, not wealth, just safety. A small home where worry did not echo off the walls. She worked 2 jobs, saved every extra coin, and believed kindness would come back around someday. People told her she was too soft, too quiet, too trusting. She did not argue. She let her actions speak. That night at the restaurant, danger moved fast. A stranger's anger, a sudden threat, a raised arm. Alana's body responded before fear could. Later, doctors would say her quick movement saved a life. But in that moment, she only knew one truth. Someone needed protecting. As time slowed, the boss remembered his own past. He had grown up learning that strength meant dominance, that silence was weakness unless backed by force. He built his empire on control, never on care. Yet the image burned into him now was not of power, but of a woman bleeding quietly to protect someone she owed nothing. The restaurant reopened its breath. People whispered, some cried, others stared at Alana with new eyes. The boss's men cleared the space, but no one was dragged away. There was no shouting, only respect uttered. The hospital. Alana drifted between pain and calm. The smell of clean sheets and medicine filled her senses. Her thoughts stayed with her brother. She worried if he had eaten, if he had locked the door. She did not think about praise or reward. She only hoped she had done right. The boss did not leave the hospital. He stood watch outside her room, unseen by most, but fully present. His mother sat beside the bed, refusing to go home. She held Alana's hand and spoke softly, telling stories from her youth, thanking her again and again. Gratitude crossed every language barrier. When Alana woke, she saw unfamiliar faces and expected trouble. Instead, she found warmth. She found apologies for the fear she endured. She found a mother's tears on her knuckles. The boss stepped into view last, not looming, not cold, just a man carrying the weight of a debt he could never repay. He asked nothing of her. He offered everything: care, protection, support. Alana listened, calm but guarded. She had learned that big promises often came with strings. She thanked him but said she needed time. Days passed. News spread. People spoke of the waitress who stood firm when others froze. They spoke of quiet heroism, of dignity without demand. Alana healed slowly. Each day, the boss returned, not with gifts, but with presence. He listened more than he spoke. He watched how she spoke to nurses, how she thanked cleaners, how she asked about his mother's health before her own. He saw a strength he had never known how to build. One afternoon, as sunlight warmed the room, his mother spoke words that changed everything. She said that honor is not inherited, it is chosen. She said courage shows itself in moments that do not ask permission. She said Alana carried the heart of a guardian. The boss felt his world shift again, not in fear this time, in clarity. When Alana was released, she returned to her small home. The boss ensured her brother was safe, her bills covered, her job waiting. Still, Alana kept her distance. She did not want to belong to anyone's shadow. Weeks later, he asked to see her, not as a boss, as a man. He stood before her without guards, without pride. He told her he had lived surrounded by people who obeyed him, but none who reminded him what honor felt like. He told her she had changed him without trying. Alana listened, her eyes steady. She told him that strength does not need fear to stand tall, that silence can be louder than threats, that protecting others is not bravery if it expects reward. Those words stayed with him. They became his compass. Then came the day that shocked everyone at a quiet gathering. Simple and unplanned, the boss stood before his family and closest allies. Alana stood beside him, still unsure why she had been invited. He spoke plainly. He said he had spent his life taking that one woman had given without being asked, that, if he wanted a future built on honor, it had to start now. He asked her to marry him, not as a trophy, not as a debt, but as a promise to walk beside her, equal and accountable. The room held its breath. Alana did not answer right away. She looked at his mother, who nodded with gentle certainty. She thought of her brother, of her own values, of the road ahead. Then she spoke words that would echo far beyond that room. Love is not proven by words spoken fast, but by lives changed slow. He agreed without defense. They married simply. No spectacle, no display of power, just commitment witnessed by those who mattered. The city felt the change almost at once. The boss's rule softened without weakening. Fear gave way to respect. Protection replaced punishment. Alana never sought the spotlight. She continued her work, now focused on helping others who lived unseen. She reminded him daily that strength must serve, not rule. He listened. People spoke of the transformation with awe. A man shaped by darkness, choosing light. A woman proving that courage does not need armor. At a public event months later, crowds stood in quiet respect as Alana walked past, not because she asked for it, but because they remembered. One final truth settled into the city's bones. The strongest people are often the quietest. The bravest acts are done without promise of reward. And sometimes the future changes because one person stepped forward when everyone else stepped back. If this story moved you, share where you are watching from. Tell us what silent strength means to you, and subscribe for more stories that honor unseen heroes and the courage that changes everything.